Hey babes, it's B. Welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I'm going to be doing an Archer and Olive notebook review. I've been holding onto this notebook since December of 2019 when I got it for my birthday. I've waited so long to do this video just because I wanted to do it around the same time that I would actually have to use this journal. And since I'm coming to an end in my current bullet journal, I'm going to have to set this one up. So I haven't even taken it out of the box, which is this really smooth white box with a leafy design, and it also has the Archer and Olive logo in foil on the front, which is super reflective, and I think this packaging is really pretty, and knowing me, I'll probably keep it and I have no idea what I'll do with it, but it'll just hurt to throw away. Inside, the notebook comes protected by this piece of white paper, which also makes it really easy to pull the notebook out of the box. And all of this packaging is 100% eco-friendly, which is really nice that Archer and Olive cares about the environment, so that's a positive point for them. Now I'm going to talk about the actual notebook itself. This is an A5 dotted notebook. This one specifically is the rose gold dot grid notebook on the Archer and Olive website. In case any of you want to actually purchase it, I will put it in the description box for you. The measurements are 5.75 inches by 8.25 inches, which is a pretty average size for an A5 notebook. It has a linen cover with a gold foil design, which in this case is a rose, and it's super pretty and super reflective. The book also has an elastic band to hold the notebook together, as well as a pen loop. It has two bookmarks, one of which has the Archer and Olive logo at the end of it, and there's also a back pocket at the end to store any extra pieces of paper that you may need to use in your bullet journal. The first page of the notebook has an area for you to put your name and your contact information. The notebook has 160 pages, which are all 160 GSM. GSM stands for grams per square meter, which is a way to measure the weight or thickness of a piece of paper. So 160 GSM equals pretty thick paper that can hold markers, fountain pens, or even paint, according to Archer and Olive. The pages have a 0.5 centimeter dot grid, and the dots are not too dark in my opinion. They actually seem to give off a blue tint, which is interesting. The book also lies flat. The only thing that springs up a little bit are the pages, but you can flatten those down pretty easily. The notebook is also 100% vegan, which definitely shows Archer and Olive's consistent support for the environment. Archer and Olive claims that their 160 GSM pages have no ghosting or bleeding, and it's time to put that claim to the test. I'm going to test some of my most commonly used pens and markers, as well as paints that I want to start using in my bullet journal. I started off with my Tombow dual brush pen and Tombow Fudenosuke pens. I tried to blend two different colors of the Tombow dual brush pens just to see if this paper was blendable, and it turns out it's not really that good for blending, which is not really an issue in my case since I don't tend to blend many colors together and I just use one color at a time. But for those of you who do like to blend your colors together, that could be something that you need to keep in mind. I also tested all of my Sakura products, from the fine liners and the brush pens and the jelly roll pens that I have, and I also tested the Pentel sign pen that I have, as well as the Crayola Super Tips, which are the cheaper option that I have for coloring things in. And I tested out my stamps just so that I could see what the stamp ink does to the other side of the page, since it did have a little ghosting in my previous bullet journal. And I also tested my gold marker, Pilot G2 pen, and a Sharpie brush pen that I have. Now moving on to the paint test, I just tried out two different paints that I might start using in my bullet journal, which is watercolor paints and acrylic paints. As you can see, I have 3 swatches for my watercolors, and this is to showcase the effect of water on the page. So the first one has the least amount of water, and the last one has the most amount of water. I also wanted to show you in this bullet journal if the pens smudge at all, because that's an issue that I also had in my other bullet journal. I had to wait for it to dry a little bit, but here, as you can see, as soon as I draw, I rub my finger over it and it stays. Nothing smudges, there's nothing there, and it's amazing. And now it's time to see what it looks like on the other side of the page. So as you can see, only the Sharpie brush bled through, and there's a bit of ghosting on the watercolor swashes in which I used the most water. If you're going to use watercolors in this notebook, I suggest using the least amount of water possible. I am extremely excited to use this notebook just because I haven't had a bullet journal that has no ghosting or bleeding, so that's a major win for me. There are a couple things that you might want to keep in mind. This linen cover by the end of this video did pick up a little bit of dust or lint or whatever was around it. It was picking it up pretty easily, meaning that it was getting dirty. So this bullet journal is going to take a little bit more maintenance than the faux leather bullet journals that I normally have, and that's something you might want to keep in mind if this bothers you. Another thing is the watercolor paints. You're going to have to be really careful with how much water you use with your watercolors if you are a painter. If not, this doesn't concern you. But for those of you who do want to paint in your bullet journal, you need to keep that in mind and be careful with how much water you put. And for those of you who do want to be a little bit more artistic and blend your tombos in this journal, it doesn't work that well for me. Maybe you can figure it out, but when I tried to blend them, they were not budging. They dry as soon as they hit the paper, which is why it's good for no smudging, but blending doesn't work. So that's another thing to keep in mind. And also what I noticed is that this bullet journal doesn't have any page numbers. I don't normally use page numbers, so this doesn't bother me, but if you do, you might need to reconsider using a different bullet journal or just write in the numbers by hand. Onto the pricing. This specific dotted notebook that I showcased in this video is $31 plus the $5 shipping fee, but you can get this bullet journal with gold edges for $36 plus that $5 shipping fee. I don't recommend this notebook for beginners just because of the price. I suggest you start out in a cheaper notebook just so that you can get the hang of bullet journaling and know if it's for you. And once you do, then you can start buying more expensive materials like this Archer and Olive notebook, which I actually got after bullet journaling for 2 years in a cheaper notebook that I purchased at Hobby Lobby. So that's it for this video. I really hope you enjoyed it and that it was helpful in choosing your notebook for your bullet journal. If you did like this video, go ahead and give a big thumbs up, comment something nice down below, share this video, and subscribe to my channel for more videos from me. Turn on the post notifications so you know when I upload my next video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!